using in the survey, you're using in your primary data. Uh, and this goes, in a usual numerical scale, you give like 7 options here. And in these 7 options, 7 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. Remember, these are always going like that, okay? Not that 7 is the extremely dissatisfied and 1 is the extremely satisfied. So there's always this format structure that has to follow exactly what it is. The question here is that now that you have your car for about 1 year, please tell me how satisfied you are with your magnet. So this is about you ask if the customer is extremely satisfied about it, so then they will set 7. And the customer is extremely dissatisfied, they will make 1. Now if someone is somewhere here, so we are talking about 90 satisfied, 90 satisfied, that kind of situation. That is average liking and average disliking. So if you are in big, so a numerical scale can be quite useful as well. But the problem using numerical scale, that's the reason why I don't really ask students to use numerical scale much, is that when you say 1, 4 and 7, okay, good. It's easy. But how about 2, 3, 5 and 6? It gives respondent a lot of ways to express, particularly the degree of satisfaction or degree of dissatisfaction. But when you are going to interpret that, that is challenging. That's going to be challenging. So if you are going to use a scale of this nature, you probably need a little bit of operational definitions. You really need to set a definition set by yourself, perhaps based on past research experience. What 2, 3, 5 and 6 mean. Otherwise it can be handy. But generally, most of the students, they are using something like this one. So it's a lot easier. And how often do you eat chocolate ice creams? So it's a lot easier way of asking a question. Never, very often, rarely, sometimes, and often. Now here again, it's somewhat easy for you to set. Still, you need some degree of operational definition. Now, when you say never, it's easy. But when you say very often, how do you define very often? You probably need to say very often means a person who is eating chocolate ice cream at least 3 times a week or 4 times a week. You really have to say it. When you say sometimes, we are not talking about eating ice creams weekly basis. We're talking about maybe once in a month or so. So it comes in that format. And this is the most commonly used one, Likert scale. Usually got 5 things, and in some cases it comes like you get statements in this side, and then you get strongly agree and disagree this side, and then you get 1 to 5. So it can present in many different ways. But this is one of the most commonly used one for attitude measuring process. And you have again, you probably get into the same case that where you need to have operational definition. Now, what you need to be knowing when you're designing the questions for the question is that please make sure that the questions are not simply yes and no questions. If the questions are just simply yes and no questions, they are not going to be of much help because they are not at master degree level. See, so you really need to use these techniques here. there is another thing that you need to be careful as well. Because I remember some time back, one of my students, he said like this. He says, strongly I disagree is 20%, disagree is 40, and he converts this Likert scale into a numerical scale with percentages, which is totally wrong, just very, very wrong. So you can say that, say this one, playing tennis is a great way to exercise. If I ask this question in the class, say, if everyone picks strongly agree, then I can say 100% of the class say strongly agree is good. So that means I'm not converting the Likert scale into a percentage, but I'm using your responses into a percentage based on the number of responses I get for one of these items. Do you see the difference? Yeah? So you can't convert, you can't set percentages to these. But based on the response that you can get, you can categorize people. Maybe a half the class is strongly agree, and the half the class may have said agree. So I can say 50% of the class is strongly agree, 50% of the class about this one. So that's possible to put it in a scale, in a percentage scale. This is again for knowledge purpose, but not really that useful. Semantic differential scale. So it's got again extremes, exciting, for different things. You can use this one, but not really much for business research. Okay, so this is the same thing. Okay, so this area we are talking about mostly helping you with your proposal. Okay. So this is the same thing we discussed. If you recall your first lecture, you see the same slide there. Now, I told you many times that objectives are very important, right? So look at this one. Look at this dialogue here. Dialogue I got it from kindergarten textbook. Now you may think that, come on, this is not a kindergarten class. Of course I know this is not a kindergarten class. This is an MBA class. But sometimes those things that appear in kindergarten textbooks can be quite useful as well. Alice Adventures in Wonderland. You read this book when you were small, right? What it says. It's a dialogue between Alice and the cat, the very big cat. So even if you don't know this Alice Adventures in Wonderland, just look at the dialogue. It's like A and B, between A and B. And would you tell me please which way I ought to walk from here? So the other person says that depends a good deal on where you want to get to. I don't much care where, then it doesn't matter which way you walk. Right? So basically it's the same thing happens in the research as well. You are the one to determine where you want to go and which direction you want to go and what you use. So that's again we are talking about research objectives here. So if you don't have objectives, this is going to be the same thing. No one will care where you go. That's going to get you into more problems. Okay? Right. So now, so these are the things that you need to focus when you are setting up research questions. The very first question is about, does the topic fit the specification made this standard set by the examining body? So your examining body is Buckinghamshire University, and the specifications are set by them, and the specifications are based on uh, NQF, National Qualification Framework Level 7, because master degrees are set at level 7. So, so when you are setting up research questions, your research question should reflect the master degree research question. And, and then your research objectives should also reflect that level. And your work should also reflect that level. And that's your research topic contain issues that have a clear link to theory. Now, you know that throughout this course, your research should be focused on business research topics. Now, when you say business research topic, how about, say, health benefit of aloe vera for fairer skins? Can this be a research topic for MBA dissertation? How maybe how do Korean companies produce aloe vera that can help, that can improve the skin conditions of Hong Kong users? Can this be a business research topic? Certainly not. This is cosmetic. These are not going to be business research. Or how about another question? These are the certain questions I had it in class where some students came up with these brilliant ideas for research topic, business research topic. Another student came and talked about, talking about welfare beneficiaries. Yes, she's talking about how could the Hong Kong, how could people in Hong Kong